Hello and welcome back to Leinster Listen. I'm your host Mick Linan and this is episode 61, the review of Ireland versus Australia in the Nations Championship. This episode's content today will be the Nations Championship match results, the overall opinion of the game, the analysis of the game events, and then the Nations Championship positioning after this weekend. Alright folks, the Nations Championship round 1 has just finished this weekend. It was on Saturday and it has been an absolute electric one already. Honestly, the drama that has unfolded this weekend is immense. Let's go through some of those results for you. So you had New Zealand 34, France 32, 2 points in the difference there. I will talk about a little bit these after, but let's just go through the results first off anyway. Next up, we had Japan 27, Italy 10, Australia 31, Ireland 33, Fiji 24, Wales 39, South Africa 45, England 21, and then last but not least, Argentina 38, Scotland 47. So yeah, look, I mean, those results, some of them probably expected, a lot of them closer than you think, than you would have thought. I suppose getting confused here myself already because it's just blown my mind this weekend. I think this is probably one of the best championship formats they've probably brought out in a long, long time, and I'm so happy it's here. And let's just go in with the wildest game that happened this weekend. I know it's not the Ireland-Australia game, no. It was the New Zealand-France game in Christchurch. So as I said, New Zealand beat France 34-32, and you know, the lead up to this game, there was huge controversy in the media there, especially coming from the Kiwis saying, well, you know, it's an insult that France aren't sending their full 23, mind you. They're not sending DuPont, you know, there's a load of lads on the bench. It's this new, fresh-faced team. What an insult. And then right after the game, they're saying that was definitely not a second team. It was not a second team. And fair enough, it probably wasn't. They came out of the blocks and they absolutely blitzed the All Blacks. The game, as I said, is 2 points in the difference, but it went down to the absolute wire. France were, had just scored a try with like 4 minutes to go. Now, for whatever reason, they decided inside their own 22 to kick away the ball with a minute and a half to go. Absolute mind melter why they would do that. I don't know why rugby teams in general just do that. It just seems the most ridiculous thing to do. You would imagine that they would rather go through the phases and then lose it to a penalty or like lose it to some random, turnover or something like that. But no, they actually go and kick it away, and all New Zealand had to do was hold it for a minute and a half. But look, it was 9 tries, 23 line breaks, and a 2-point margin at the final whistle. It was probably the exact perfect start to this championship. Is exactly what you wanted. I'd say the TV the TV owners of this whole thing were just foaming at the mouth at this being one of the opener games. And look, I mean, I'd implore you, if you had to go and watch one game from start to finish from this weekend, obviously I'd tell you to go watch the Ireland-Australia game, but no, it has to be this game. It was just edge of your seat stuff from start to finish. And like, to go into that, Will Jordan scored twice. Absolute fantastic game. It was just, I suppose, from start to finish, you don't know what was going to happen. Like, France hit back through Peno, they had Hastoy, Atasogbe, and then obviously, as I said, the 78th minute, Mathieu Jalibert. Oh my God. DuPont wasn't there. Maxime Lucu has, stepped up to the mark, and he does not miss conversions. And it's just crazy that he did miss a conversion. So all of these things just led to this absolute howler of a game. And I tell you one thing, the Le Bleu have only won in New Zealand soil 5 times in history, and they will be absolutely livid that they did not beat them, especially with I suppose you probably shouldn't call it a non-first team. It wasn't really their first team. So coming out there with what they would consider a second team and doing that damage to New Zealand was crazy, lads. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, you'd be stuck for words really about that game. But then on top of that, you had another howler of a game, South Africa versus England, and another absolute try belter. There was tries all over the place. Now, most of them were coming from the Springboks, mind you. Rassie Erasmus obviously had loads of stuff up his sleeves, and most of them were just stars of the game that have never left South Africa. They've always been fantastic. And, it also was without Sia Khaleesi and Evan Etzebeth. So 2 massive players there were not on that pitch. And, it was crazy as well because England were down 17-0 after just 12 minutes. You had tries there from Thomas Dubois and Cheslin Kolbe. It's just, I don't know, it's one of those things where you kind of knew the writing was on the wall for England that they weren't probably going to do well, but you didn't think they were going to do that bad. So yeah, look, honestly, the first round has put my expectations up for the rest of this championship to a very high standard. I really hope we can meet that again. But I suppose let's get back into exactly what we want to talk about after this, and that is the Ireland versus Australia game. We'll talk more about the Nations Championship position after this section, but we do have to get into just the overall opinion of our game, and what a game it was. Like, it was, like most games, apart from the Scotland-Argentina game, and that wasn't really edge or seat stuff, I don't think, but this was just edge or seat stuff the whole time as well. Joe Schmidt's team really put it to us. I kind of expected it to be an awful lot of a close game. I did expect us to win fairly narrowly. Actually, I didn't. I didn't. But I did say it was going to be 27-22. So realistically, like I said, 5 points in the difference. It was 2 points in the difference. But the actual score there was obviously Australia 31, Ireland 33. But let's get into it. Like, it was a right winner. Absolute electric game as well. As I said, I've never seen such a dramatic finish in all of Ireland's time playing, and it felt like a World Cup quarter final. I don't know what a semi final feels like. Self dig. Why did I even do that? Well, I haven't experienced what a semi final has felt like, but I've definitely felt like what those quarterfinals feel like, and it was exactly that. It was as if we were playing some sort of final, but it was just the opener of the Nations Championship. Both teams scored 5 tries, bonus points for both teams there, but it was an absolute belter. Man of the match there was Hugo Keenan, and he deserved it, but my God, I must say, the entire team went out and just stole the show, lads. It was chaotic, it was brilliant, it was exactly what you get up for at 11 o'clock in the morning to go watch a match. And you're watching rugby since 8 o'clock, and you're coming on for this game, and it was great. I honestly, I was kind of a little bit hesitant to think in the Nations Championship, Southern Hemisphere rugby, we're probably going to do bad because we have to travel. But no, geez, we came out flying, and we came out flying. We 5 minutes in, I was like, we're grand, we're going to do so well. Boom, Australia try. Disaster. Bells start ringing, my head starts spinning. I was like, oh, here we go. But we did come back from a 24-12 deficit to win 33-31. So look, I think overall this was a fantastic game. Probably not the best for us. I think we could have, there's an awful. I'll talk more about the points where we need to do better. But realistically, that was our 6th straight win over Australia. And Farrell obviously has a good game plan there. He obviously has a plan B. We needed plan B very quickly. Plan A really showed it wasn't working, and he did implement plan B. So yeah, look, I just, it's very hard to describe it without just being lost for words here, and that's probably not great for a podcaster in that sense. It probably shouldn't be lost for words, but it was just an amazing Saturday. It definitely put the super in Saturday, and I must say, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I would love to say I didn't have a doubt that we were going to win it. I did. Half time, I was thinking, only for Gibson Park scored that half time try, I was thinking, geez, we're in a spot of bother here. But I suppose we can't really talk about the game without going through exactly where it went right, where it went wrong. And we'll start off here, as we usually do, with the scrums, right? Now, the scrums were a bit of a mixed bag. Neither side really got sustained the platform from it. It wasn't really utilised as a set piece. They kind of just got in and got out as quickly as possible. Furlong and O'Toole obviously held their own against Bell and Alatoa. But Joe Schmidt, obviously, the connection to the Wallaby side was just this added sprinkle of spice. He obviously was telling them our game plan. He knows pretty much what we do with the scrums. I don't think we've really changed scrummage too much since he was there. Or at least he's definitely had the same people in it with the likes of Furlong, so he kind of knows how he works. But Ireland's scrum wasn't really the weapon it should have been. I think Farrell's side, he probably would be coming in at half time saying, Jesus Christ, lads, you're a bigger pack. You've done this longer than that front row. Cop on. Angus Bell played with halfie for a whole season or two, actually. So, you should know how he plays as well. But look, we won it, I suppose, away from the scrums. We won the tempo and we won the resilience after that, which is exactly what we needed. And obviously we had that very big dominance in the front pack, in the forwards. Our pod structure was very good. Sam Prendergast was very good at the passing as well. So I suppose without having to utilise the scrum as a set piece, we did come along and use our forwards for other things. The likes of Clarkson there, who obviously got the winning try. And that came from a lot of phase play. So not exactly the scrums coming up there, but more or less just held their own with the scrum. So again, as I said, mixed bag, not great. I think we'll probably dominate the scrums coming up to Japan. I think, they do. Now, in saying that, I have seen Japan's scrum increase in performance way better than they used to be. They used to be a thing where they just avoided them, really. But I do think now that coming up into this game on the 11th, I think we will utilise the scrum as a set piece. So, yeah, unfortunately against Australia, just wasn't really there. The next point here, not great either. And I think you're going to know what I'm going to say. It was the lineouts. They were a problem. They were actually a problem. And it's kind of, it's crazy because it's not one of the creakiest parts of Ireland play. We normally do very well. Sheehan normally does a very good job. But unfortunately, he was a bit wobbled. Don't know what it was. Maybe it's just the pressure that Australia was putting onto us early in the game. Maybe he's panicking a little bit. Maybe he's trying to overthink things. But Schmidt obviously was targeting, and they had stole 2 lineouts from us perfectly, like textbook style. We also had 1 or 2 overthrows as well, which didn't go our way, and then we also got infringed for kind of doing cross and play as well. So yeah, lineouts were not fantastic, and Australia used our maul very well. Very, very well. Lonergan obviously started at 9 there, and McDermott scored from a tap and go after we completely switched off from one of those lineouts. So yeah, I don't know. I suppose Byrne, when he was introduced in around the 52nd minute, I think he really did help to steady the ship. Now, in fairness, very good in terms of his the breakdown. He really kind of turned the tide. So Byrne's introduction was very good there. But regardless, I think we still won despite the poor lineouts of the night. So, yeah, and, it's funny because I think if we utilised them all a bit more, we probably would have done better. But Clarkson got that try after the maul completely went dysfunctional. So he kind of slipped off the back and went over. So, yeah, I think that's the 2 points. Like, if you lose the scrums, you lose the game. So we're very lucky to win it. You lose the lineouts, you're going to lose all your kind of set pieces. So we've 2 set pieces that are completely gone there. I don't know how really pulled through, but I suppose like a pure Leinster thing. We won ugly, and we won gritty, and a win's a win. So I'm happy out. Now, the one thing I do have to talk about here is the defence, and the defence maybe because of the early exit of Balcoon, right, which is obviously very poor, and I know I feel bad for him because he was kind of knocked out of the Six Nations there, obviously with bad injury, comes up to this, gets injured in warm-up, gone, right? So Jimmy Ryan had to come in very late. That is obviously going to disrupt your game plan. You build your team, you build your squad, and you build your game plan around the players that are going to be playing for 60 or 70 minutes, right? So if you have to swap out a back, especially, one of your defenders, essentially, when the ball goes the opposite way, you want to have that game plan in place. So a very, very late change is going to be detrimental to most things. But I think our defence can't really use that as an excuse. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. Now, it did improve after the break, so I will give it that. But Len Ikitau and Joseph Akusa Suaalii absolutely ran riot. Now, I did say Suaalii would, and the commentators there on Virgin Media pretty much said the same thing. Peter Matheny, he was talking about it. Actually, the first time I ever heard someone on a panel go, stop, right? And he was trying to say that the topic came up that Australia's backline from 11 to 15 were better than Ireland's 11 to 15 on paper. Now, obviously, Peter Mahoney was like, "Or you're saying their 15 is better than Hugo Keenan?" No, absolutely not. So I commend him for that because he's dead right. But I will say they were good in one aspect and they were better in one aspect, and that was defence. They had us down to a T and we did not stop them. They absolutely made mincemeat of us for 40 minutes. And, every time the ball went out wide, you just knew they were going to score a try, and it was just horrible. Unfortunately, had Sam Prendergast there pass it directly into Max Jorgensen's hands, which completely gifted a try to Lonergan there as well. So, that was their bonus point try at the 27th minute. 27th minute. That is ridiculous. Like, the first try, you could probably give it to a bit of nerves. The second try was nearly exactly the same as the first try. You can't let that happen. The third try as well was a little bit more of a set piece and stuff, but my God, Hugo Keenan had to go and do a try-saving tackle on Suaalii on the 36th minute, and that was kind of a turning point now, in fairness, because Gibson Park obviously scored in the stoppage time, but Jesus Christ, I just know it kind of fell apart, and I hate to be negative. You know me, I don't like that, but there was something seriously wrong there, and we'll have to look at it, because if we're coming into the World Cup, and that's the kind of level of stuff we're doing, we are going to be made a show of by teams who actually have their act together. And I say that with a pinch of salt. I don't want to put the Australian lads down. They obviously are a tight outfit at the moment. Joe Schmidt has them at a very good level, but they're not South Africa. They're not New Zealand. They're not France. These lads are going to destroy us if we don't tighten up that defence, especially in the first half. If you let a team in to get their 4 try bonus point on the 27th minute, they're not going to stop there. We kind of got lucky in the sense with Australia. I think we need to really focus in on that. We need to really pull that back. Now, obviously, they went into the dugouts at half-time and Andy Farrell tore them a new one because they came out a different team. They came out a much more defensive team. So the plan B was implemented in the dugout at half-time, and rightly so, exactly what we needed. They came out from the half-time and just a pure show of force was given. So I think it was good. Bundyaki came on. Jesus, that man still has it. He's so good. He's so fast. His carries were so dominant, and he was great at tackling. So, look, held our nerve there, but defence, something needs to happen to defence. It needs to get better. Now, the silver lining, right? The silver lining here is the attack. The attack was sharp as a knife, lads. It was so good. We got the front football. It was so good. 5 tries, obviously, is fantastic. You can't fault that. You have your bonus point and a little bit more. Keen Prendergast there, brilliant. Him with Josh van der Fleer were just so good. 2 of them obviously got their tries as well. Back rows there were just carrying hard non-stop. Gibson Park as well, such bravery to attack from deep. Absolutely brilliant. Jack Conan gave him a perfect offload, mind you, and another player that played an absolute blinder, mind you. But scrum half, you love when Gibson Park does it. He finished right under the post, gifted a little conversion there for Sam. But it's exactly what you need. You need those kind of plays. And I think our attack was very clinical, very good. It was very fast paced. It really put Australia in the back foot. They didn't know how to really defend it. And, I suppose Andy Farrell's approach in the first half was probably the attack is the best defence, right? It didn't work. So that's grand. Second half then we came out a lot more defensive and then played the scramble ball. So every time we got the ball back, we just blitzed them. And that's what you want to do. So be a very good defensive line. Come up, shoot up quickly, not too deep. We did get burned from that. I think it was Stuart McCluskey bolted up in one of the lines. Missed your man with a missed tackle, and then that was a try in easy. So, there is a level to play with there. But our line speed was just quicker and quicker and quicker in the second half. So that's exactly what you wanted. Really put it to them. We didn't give them any of the same kind of plays that they had in the first half. Now, we did have a couple of, weird things that happened, a couple of calls, but I think the ref actually did a fairly decent job. In terms of our attack, it was exactly what we want. And, I think probably Burns' influence coming on was very good as well. Very good influence to have to come on there. He's kind of a captain without being a captain all the time. Not to say Dan Sheehan wasn't a good captain, but when your lineups are kind of going bad and that's your captain doing it, it will probably affect the mental game there a little bit. But I suppose without further ado, going into that, let's talk about some notable players. Obviously, you've heard me say a couple of names there, but we'll start off with Hugo Keenan. Obviously, you have to start off with him. He's the official man of the match there, and it's his first start since for the Ireland international since 2025. The Six Nations 2025, mind you. So absolutely brilliant. He had like a fantastic try saving tackle on Suaalii, as I said. He scored a bonus point try 7 minutes into the second half. Brilliant try there as well. Ringrose was helping him out. Prendergast was helping him out with the conversions. But he really did save the game defensively. He came out in the second half and it was his game. He was dictating how the defence played out. And obviously it worked out and he deserves that official award. Brilliant. So I kind of pip him as the guy, as I used to call him, the master puppets. He was puppeteering all the backs there to make sure that we didn't do the same mistakes. And I'd say Andy Farrell probably saying to him, you are the 15. It is your job to make sure that those lads are coordinated to make sure we do not let that happen again. And he did his job. Fair play to him. Delighted. Another player you have to talk about, Thomas Clarkson. A Leinster prop off the bench there. Furlong made away at 51st minute, I think, and then Clarkson came in and he absolutely changed the game. Very, very good. His second only international try, which he burrowed over 3 minutes left as well. So, got us that win. Fair play to him. He could have even got the man of the match medal just for that. And then, Prendergast obviously helping him up as well with the conversions. Fantastic there. But look, a very decisive moment in the game, and we had absolutely no right to win it at that point, and Clarkson went in and got that try for us. So, visionary there really for him. I'm delighted he got it. He deserves it. He's been such a fantastic prop. And he really did change the game. And I suppose last but not least there in terms of Leinster players. I shouldn't be talking just about Leinster players. I've only talked about Leinster players. It is Leinster, the Leinster Listen podcast, sure. No, Jebison Gibson Park, I don't know how he still has the moxie that he does. I think maybe when he shaved his head, he brought himself back of about 4 years, and he's just kept going since that, or maybe the hair is weighing him down. But look, it's working for him. He is so good. Absolutely so good. Anyone, it doesn't matter what province you're from, you are going to want him on the team. He is probably the best scrum half we have had in decades. Someone's probably going to tell me I'm wrong. Please prove me wrong. I would love to see it. I cannot think of a better scrum half that we've had. He is just electric. He is so good. Him and Prendergast just work so well, and I think that's a very good thing to do. I would like to see it if they were to swap that. You put Gibson Park with anyone else, I don't think they'll have the same symbiosis going. Prendergast is obviously doing a very good job with him. The pass and the kicks. A couple of kicks obviously went straight with Sam, but they just work so well together, and that's obviously proven because they do that with Leinster to win the grand final in the URC. All those things obviously matter. I'd say if you were to actually swap out players to out of a different one, if you're, let's say, move Gibson Park onto the bench, right, you'd want Casey on and you'd want Crowley playing, because I think obviously those two, the fly half and the scrum half have to work together, so you'd want them already knowing how they play together. But yeah, I mean, Gibson Park, my God, I don't need to say any more. Obviously, even yourself, you just know, listening now, that he is just a fantastic player. So fair play to him. Referee there was Ben O'Keefe. I don't think he actually had a bad game. A couple of very crucial times he had to make a decision. Obviously, Sheehan's disallowed try was one of them. James Ryan had prevented Valentini from making a tackle. I don't think he would ever have gotten to the tackle. Even if he made a tackle, I think Sheehan was still over. But you have to be able to make the tackle, and unfortunately, Ryan got pinged for that. Now, it's a weird one because, it was technically still part of the maul, and if he breaks away from the maul, he doesn't really have exactly anywhere to go. He's going to still bundle forward. The man is a walking giant. But the slow-mo camera really doesn't help his case, because it just looks like he just stumbles his way and then kind of body checks Valentini. So yeah, unfortunately that was ruled out. But the TMO and Ben O'Keefe obviously knew, they could see all the angles. They were happy enough to say, no, you've blocked the tackle. It's essentially is a screening or one of those things. You can't be doing that. Fair enough. There was also the Lachlan Shaw yellow at 76th minute. That was for repeat infringements. And in fairness, I've seen a couple of comments saying that it should never have been a yellow. There was only like 2 or 3 infringements. But the thing is, you can't keep infringing on your 5 meters and expect not to get a yellow. So I agree with Ben O'Keefe there. If it was the other way around, I wouldn't have any problems with it. It's what you get. But yeah, there was no craziness. Donaldson obviously missed 2 penalty kicks. Not fantastic. If he had gotten the last one, we would have lost. And I do think his ego got ahead of him there, because you could see his captain going over to him saying, "Are you sure about this now? Do you want to just go kick to touch?" And he said, "No, I'm going for the posts." But Ben O'Keefe made sure that no one was running. He was watching them for the entire thing, and it went to the left and wide. Done. Happy out. We win. But he let the game flow. So fair play to Ben O'Keefe. From New Zealand, might be a little bit of resentment there from the Wallabies, that maybe he's a little bit biased towards Ireland. I don't know how he would be. We normally say it's the other way around. But look, in the line, that game, Ireland came from 12 down. We beat Schmidt's Wallabies 33-31 in Sydney in a sold out Allianz Stadium. And let me say, it has just been... I've been on cloud 9 ever since. It's just fantastic. Clarkson's late try, Prendergast's boot, Donaldson's ego, all those things just made it a perfect 6th straight win over Australia. Alright folks, really quickly here, we're going to go through the match events. So the 3rd minute try for Australia, Dylan Peach. Terrible. Absolutely shocking. Now, Carter obviously missed that conversion, so happy out for us, but alarm bells. 10th minute then, try for Ireland, Keen Prendergast. Absolutely brilliant there for him. Successfully converted by his brother. Sam Prendergast brought to score Australia 5, Ireland 7. 30-minute try for Australia, Jock Campbell. Yeah, not great for us again. Really well taken score. Just went out wide. Fecked us. We opened the gates for them to do it. That was successfully converted by Carter Gordon. Brought to score Australia 12, Ireland 7. 19th minute then, try for Ireland, Josh van der Fleer. Sheehan flicked the ball from tap and go, penalty close to the line, perfect. That was unfortunately missed by Sam. Brought score Australia 12, Ireland 12. And then we had the flurry. So the 24th minute then, try for Australia, Josh Canham. Yeah, Rob Valentini caused absolute havoc, and then Canham just crashed over, resulting in a very good phase play movement there. In fairness to him, you have to put your hands up. It was very good. That was successfully converted by Carter Gordon, brought to score Australia 17, Ireland 12. 27th minute then, another try for Australia. That was by Ryan Lonergan. So that was Sam Prendergast pass that was just... It was just intercepted by Max Jorgensen. Not great that he went to pass it. Probably the bad decision. He probably should have held on to it. And then Lonergan obviously finished that from a pass over from Max Jorgensen. And that was their bonus point try on the 27th minute. That was successfully converted by Carter Gordon. Brought to score to Australia 24, Ireland 12. 41st minute then, in the red, right before half time. Try for Ireland, none other than James Park. And it was actually right after Keenan's try-saving tackle on Suaalii that kept it in at first. And Gibson Park just absolutely darted through in stoppage time after Conan offloaded, brilliant offloaded to him, and he's right underneath the post. So we got a little conversion there for Sam as well. Brought to score at half time, Australia 24, Ireland 19. 47 minutes then, another try for Ireland, Hugo Keenan. This is Ringrose's very flat pass, in quotations. But it just sent Keenan through. Perfect little bonus point try there for us. And successfully converted by Sam as well. So brought to score Australia 24, Ireland 26. So that was the first time we were in the lead the entire game, and that it just took us until the 47th minute. 53 minute then, try for Australia, Tate McDermott, and that was very quick thinking from the replacement scrum half. Tap and go penalty. We were completely switched off. Easy try. Successfully converted by Carter Gordon there as well. Brought to score Australia 31, Ireland 26. 76th minute then, yellow card for Lachlan Shaw. As I said, repeat infringements at the 5 metres. Deserved it. Someone was going to get it. And then 77th minute, try for Ireland, Thomas Clarkson. And it was Burns' influence off the bench there that brought Clarkson through the back of that maul and burrowed right under from close range. 3 minutes left. Perfectly successfully converted by Sam Prendergast. Brought to score Australia 31, Ireland 33. 81st and a half minute then, a penalty for Australia by Ben Donaldson. His captain goes over to him, says, "Are you sure about this, Ben? You don't want to just kick the touch." You could see him shaking his head. "I got this." And then he did not get it. So we were blessed. We were blessed that he just had a bad boot on the day. It was the second one he missed. He missed conversion as well. So we were very lucky in the day And obviously, Sam, if he had gotten those 2 conversions, might have actually got us there. But regardless, so close. Man of the match there was Hugo Keenan. Obviously deserved every bit of it. The try-saving tackle on Suaalii obviously won the game for us. If he had gotten that at that time, we would have lost. But yeah, match done, match won, and he got his little medal to match. So next game there is Japan. Next game is Japan versus Ireland in round 2 of the Nations Championship, and that is on Saturday, 11th of July, and that'll be at I think it's 11. No, it's actually at 10 a.m. I think it is. So it's our early game, and that is in McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle. So yeah. I suppose the last thing I have to say is we are top of our table. I think so. That's a nice little thing to finish off in, isn't it? In terms of the overall table, though, we're not. But it's because of bonus points difference. Actually, I'll quickly go through it before we finish. South Africa are first, 5 points. They're top of the table. They've a plus 24 points difference. Wales are in second with 5 points, with a plus 15 points difference. Scotland with 5 points as well are in third, with plus 9 points difference. Ireland are in fourth there with plus 2 points difference, and then New Zealand are in fifth with 5 points, with another plus. I suppose they're joined fourth with plus 2 points as well. Then we have Japan, 4 points. They didn't get a bonus point. You have Australia then next, 2 points. They did get a bonus point, but no wins, so they got their 2 points. France, as well as that, they're 2 points for the bonus point and defeat. Argentina with 1 point, very high scoring loss. Scotland, but still loss. And then you have the 3 nulled teams there, so Fiji with 0, Italy with 0, and at the very bottom, England with 0 after getting hammered at altitude. Yeah. Take it that as you will. We'll obviously revert back to this after round 2. I can't imagine Wales are going to be in second after round 2. But, I do have to say, sorry, on that topic about Wales, I do have to say sorry to Chris from DQL Rugby, who I said was from Wales, and he is not from Wales. So that was awkward. I didn't know the lower. So I officially retract my statement, Chris. I'm very sorry. He is in fact from Ireland. So that was even worse than I said he was from Wales. So huge apologies there. But in fairness, when you said you were going to the Dragons games, I really thought that you were supporting the Dragons, but, with a Leinster jersey on. Anyway, that's not the case. So don't sue me. I don't have much money. Even if you did sue me, I would still do the podcast. So maybe from jail, because I wouldn't be able to pay the fines. But yes, anyway, big retraction there for Chris. But nonetheless, you're not from Wales. So Chris, who is not from Wales, you're welcome. All right, folks, that is her. What a way to open the Nation Championship, as I said. Huge episode. Sorry, it's a day late. I actually thought I broke my microphone yesterday, so I got it fixed. It was actually just the port on my my laptop was a bit dodgy. So yeah, if you haven't already, do follow us on social media. I'm trying to get some more of them up there. I'm actually doing some collaboration posts with a couple of the folks there, some long-term listeners as well. You know exactly who we are. And as always, thanks for listening.